My name is Paige Weaver. I'm a 4th semester nursing student. Today is March 6, 2019 at about 4:45 in the afternoon. Today we're going to be doing a wet to dry dressing change. Before I start the dressing change, I'm going to pre-medicate my patient 30 minutes prior if needed. I'm going to make sure I have a doctor's order for the dressing change, and I'm going to make sure my patient is in a comfortable position. Hello, Mr. Jones. My name is Paige. I'm going to be a nursing student today. We are going to be doing a dressing change. You could give me your name and date of birth. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and raise you up. So I'm going to go ahead and raise them up around my waist level so it's a comfortable working position for me. Alrighty, Mr. Jones, are you comfortable? Perfect. Go ahead and set up my biohazard bag. Mr. Jones, we're going to be setting some things down by your feet. Stay still. Okay, perfect. I'm going to go ahead and pull the curtains for some privacy. Go ahead and get some clean gloves. I'm going to go ahead and expose the wound, but keeping as much privacy for my patient as possible. As I remove this pad, I am going to gently pull off the tape and tuck it underneath so that, careful not to catch any skin. And as I remove each layer, I am going to check for drainage. I'm going to look for the type, the amount, if there's color to it, and if there is an odor. Go ahead and dispose of this. And after I walked in the room, I made sure and cleaned off my table. Some more hand hygiene. I brought in 2 sterile glove packages with me just in case I break sterility with the other one. I won't have to leave the room to get a second. Put this over here and this. Before I put on my gloves, I'm going to go ahead and open my kit. This is still not sterile. Go ahead and pitch that. I'm going to start with my dominant hand. So my gloves are messed up a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that since I have my other glove on. Pull my fingers down. It's a little cuffed around my wrist, but I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. I can go ahead and get rid of this in my trash. I'm going to go ahead and set up my sterile field. Making sure to not let it sit on any part of, or hit the table. Down. Any parts that are hanging off the side of the table are not sterile now. I'm gonna go ahead and take everything out of my package. So I've got some some sterile saline if I needed to irrigate my wound, but since my wound doesn't call for that, then I'm gonna go ahead and pitch this. I've got some more sterile saline to wet in the gauze. I've got a couple cotton tipped applicators. I've got some tape. I've got some swab sticks, some tweezers, but I don't need those, so I'm gonna go ahead and pitch them. And I've got some gauze and my pad. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and assess the wound first with the cotton applicators. I'm going to go ahead and start with the bottom, check for any tunneling, and if there was, I would go ahead and document that. Going by a clock, so the belly button would be 12 o'clock and the bottom would be 6 o'clock. I'm also going to look at the color. It's beefy red and it's moist, so that's great. I'm going to now clean the outside of the wound with a swab stick. Just gently going around the outside. Okay, perfect. Yeah, go ahead and dispose of that. I'm gonna lay some gauze and get it pretty moist. I'm going to go ahead and start packing my wound, making sure not to touch the outside. I'm being careful not to touch the wound with my fingers. I'm going to make sure I don't pack the wound too tight so that I don't inhibit the growth of the healing of the wound. Go ahead and get rid of this. I'm going to go ahead and cover it with some more dry gauze. I'm going to cover it with the pad. Make sure that the blue line is to the sky. So now that my wound is covered, I don't need to remain sterile. I'm going to go ahead and cover it with some tape in a window pane fashion, making sure not to get too much overlay. Top piece isn't sticking very well, so I'm going to go ahead and do another one. I'm gonna go ahead and pack up my stuff, throw it away. Just all ready to leave the room. And I'm going to go ahead and document the wound dressing, or I'm gonna write down today's date and time along with my initials. Go ahead and stick that in the corner so you can still see it if we need to assess it. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover my patient back up. Lower him back down. Okay, Mr. Jones, is there anything else I can get for you before I leave? No, he's good. And then after I leave the room, I'm going to go ahead and document the dressing change, how the patient tolerated it, what kind of wound it was, where it was, if there was any drainage, stuff like that.